Yo, what's going on guys? RMG Games, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm showing you guys my poor man's creeper farm. So first of all, let me explain to you how it works. There are currently 9 layers of spawning platforms for creepers, and the way they work is each layer is the exact same. Basically, there are carpets to stop spiders from spawning, trapdoors on the top to limit the Y height so that creepers can spawn, only creepers can spawn, a cat in the center to scare the creepers, and then trapdoors over here on the edges that lead into killing chambers, which has a collection system underneath. And the way that player AFKs at this farm is either they can build this farm really high up in the sky and then AFK up in the sky with it, or the player can stay 128 blocks away from the very bottom, which is right about here, so that nothing can spawn below. Or you can build this in a underground area and have all the caves lit up. However, this is one of the easiest ways to do it. The only problem is maybe making a ladder to that block up there. With one layer, I was able to get about 600 an hour within this configuration, which is about 10 gunpowder a minute. And with all 9 layers, I was able to get 4,600 gunpowder an hour, which is 76 a minute. The full list of each layer will be in the description, so you can decide how many layers you want to make if you go with this exact configuration. If you go with other configurations, or if you're in multiplayer, counts might vary. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make at least one layer and the collection system on the bottom. However, I might not need to show you a tutorial based on just me painting around it right now. But I'll show you guys how to make one layer, and then every other layer on top is the exact same. And the reason why I'm calling this poor man's creeper farm is based on other farms. They use more trapdoors or a more interesting killing system, but I was able to squeeze it in such a way that they all go into a single block and it doesn't get clogged up too much. And there's still lots of spawning space for the creepers to spawn. And it's pretty efficient, and it's pretty good. Like I said, you get 600 an hour with just one layer if you AFK all the way up there with no other, places for mobs to spawn. So yeah, let's go right into the tutorial. Alright, so after you've chosen where you want the farm to be, what you're going to do is go to that area. And then if you want to do it above ground, you're going to need to build up 5 blocks. If not, you can just start digging it out. But what I'm going to do is build up 5 blocks. That is because, that'll be the 5th if I'm including that block. That's because this is where the collection rail would be. And then this will be the bottom platform of the farm. So I'm just going to use that as a reference. So with this block being the center of the farm, I'm going to go up 5 blocks in each direction. By the way, that's not including the center. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to go out 3 from the edges towards the corners. And then fill in this corner like so. We'll do that to every side. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the corner. Alright, and then we're going to fill in the bottom floor. Like I said, if you're doing this underground, you're going to have to do something a little bit different in terms of the outside, but the inside is just the same. You need this type of platform underground made up. Alright, now we get that platform done. What we're going to want to do is build up the outside walls. So I'm not going to fill in the corner blocks, but basically you want to make a ring around the entire outside perimeter, like so. So that we're placing a block over here, not over any blocks that we previously just placed. Alright, and then we're going to want to break these blocks in the center here, which is 3 from the edge if you don't count these diagonals. And that will be the chambers where the creepers are falling down. And then we're going to want to build this wall up another layer as well. And then behind this, on each side, you want to make a 5 wide platform where the center one is a block from the edge. And then on top of this, you can either place buttons, carpet, or pressure plates. Any type of pressure plate. And I'm going to use buttons. If you're building this underground, you need to leave these blocks of air. These can be solid blocks, but we don't need them in the open version. Alright, now that we've got all that in, what we're going to want to do is make the blocks on the inside to stop spiders from spawning. And that can be carpets, half slabs, solid blocks, or glass, but I'm going to be using trapdoors because those work as well. The pattern we're going to be doing this in is if we go to the blocks that are empty, if you go 2 blocks back, so 1, 2, place one there and do that on each side. Like that. So you make a little plus shape almost, imagining this is where the cat's going to be. And then if you go, if you go over to this corner and leave a block gap from the corner, like so, so it looks like a circle. Just like that. So you can see that type of pattern that it makes. Of course, you can pause the video if you need to, or rewind and look at it again if you need. And then for the inside where the cat's going to go, I'm going to place some trapdoors or carpets like I show in here. This download will be in the description, by the way, if you want to look at that. For the cat, the easiest way to get it in there is actually, if I have it in my hotbar, there we go. If you place a rail there, place another rail, and then have your cat sit down on the second rail, but have it off to the right side, off center. So it's not on this side of the rail, it's on this side. Place a minecart down, it'll automatically push itself. They can just fill in the trapdoor. And almost done with one layer. All we got to do now is place some trapdoors on the corners over here. And the easiest way to do that is if you place 3 down while looking at the top side of this block. So if I go 1, 2, 3, and then I break this one that's the second one that we placed, and then open them both, you can see how that opens up perfectly, and only 1 block creatures can get through there. However, this will only be able to spawn creepers, so we don't have to worry about that. If you're in survival and you want to make an entrance, what you can do is place a block above whatever block you have here, and then place another trapdoor so it's flush with this block on the top and flush with this block on the top, and what that does is allows you to get in and out and still close these, and it will still be the gap that we need. So I'm just going to fill in these other sides. So 1, 2, 3, break that one, open those 2, and same thing for this side. Alright, and that's basically it almost. All we got to do now is fill in the roof. Alright, and I also will mention, if this is the only or the top layer that you want to do, you can place half slabs on this layer and bridge it out. So this will be the top layer, so these can be all half slabs so that nothing spawns on top like those. And then you also want to bridge out 15 blocks from this block here. So I would go 15 blocks this way on each side, and then make a diagonal pattern to each corner to stop light level over here from getting higher than 7 to allow maximum hostile mob spawning. I didn't even count while I was racing those. Give me a second. Alright, so that's 15 including that one. Oh, I counted 1 too many. There we go. So if this is the top layer, these should meet up perfectly. Awesome. And then we would fill this in with half slabs as well, including these layers here. So I'll just do some of it. I won't do the whole thing just for the tutorial. And when I say some of it, I mean I'll just do this quarter of the farm. Alright, just like that, and then you would, of course, rotate it all around the other edge so that no light can get into the middle. If you're doing this underground, obviously, you don't need to do this. The last step we need to make for the inside part is placing trapdoors on the very top. By the way, the count for all the items, how many items you need, is in the description, so go ahead and read that down below if you're curious as to how many blocks you need. Alright, now if we were continuing this upwards as if this was not the top layer, what you'd want to do is fill in these blocks over here. I'm going to ignore this side, pretending that this is the top of a layer. And what we would do is actually the next layer would be right here. So it's 2 blocks and then the next layer. So these would be buttons again like before. These would be the trapdoors like before. And this would be your wall. And that would be continued all the way around. In terms of the killing area, the easiest way to do it is if you go at least 2 blocks down, but I would recommend going 3 on each side. When I say 2 or 3, I mean where you can stand 2 blocks down, where your head is flush with the floor, or 1 extra, so that your head is just below the floor, like so. So I'm going to recommend using this one with 3 blocks, so you're 1 block below the floor. Your head is 1 block below the floor. And the last step over here is to add magma blocks and then create a collection system. And then for the collection system, what you're going to do is either use a hopper minecart and have it running around, which is the easiest way to do it, or you could do some other way, but I'm going to show you guys how to do the hopper minecart. So all you got to do is get power rails, some hoppers. Like I said, all the item counts will be in the description below. Just need a powered rail underneath each of one of these, and because we're using a hopper minecart, we don't need to worry about it losing momentum. I'm just going to steal one of these blocks. Oh, they were up here. I'm silly. Now, if I were to make this too tall, the rail would be 1 higher, obviously. Like I said in the very beginning, where the rail was supposed to be. But I've decided this is better, because you don't have to worry about creepers jumping up and down in the hitbox, possibly stopping creepers on the bottom floor from getting in. So I would recommend doing this and then making it, I said 4 blocks before, where this is 4 blocks. I would recommend maybe moving it up 1. It's up to you. If you don't really care about the rails and stuff, though, I wouldn't worry too much about it. And then for the collection system, what we're going to do is we'll do it like I did on the very first one and make it over here. Alright, so we got our chest, hoppers, so that this one is facing into the chest and this one is facing into the next hopper. And we're going to have the rail come up on top, have a block here, and this is going to be a powered rail like so. So this one's facing rightwards, this one's facing towards me, as you can see. And then on the other side, what we're going to want to do is place a block, just like, yep, I was right, yep, like that, there we go. So that it is next to the hopper that's facing into the chest. Place a comparator on that block facing out of the block into a block with redstone dust on top of it. And then on the side that's next to the powered rail, place a redstone torch. And what will happen now is every time a hopper minecart goes over it, if it has items in it, say I place a stack of those on the floor and I place that hopper minecart, you can see it collects the items. You can see they're in the hopper minecart. It's going to go all the way around, hit that wall, collect items from up here, and go back around. If you're having problems with them collecting this, you can move this over 1, like so. And you can see when it comes over here, if it has items in it, it will start emptying out its items. And the easiest way to turn that off is to power this block or power this redstone dust, and that will keep this redstone torch off even when the hoppers have nothing in them. However, as soon as it's empty and there is nothing in the hoppers anymore, you can see there's some items in the hoppers. As soon as this empties out and then the hopper empties out, it will continue and try keep going around. However, if you power that redstone torch, it will stop. So yeah, world download is in the description like I said before, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you guys need help or anything, go ahead and join the Discord and you can talk to me directly. And there's also a lot of cool other people on my Discord that might be able to help you out as well, if you can't get help from me right away. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. One thing I forgot: if you make this underground, I would leave an air gap and make a big square room so that there's about 1 block gap of air here, and maybe fill the whole floor with buttons. The reason for that is because the creepers inside of here won't see just these as blocks they can pathfind to. They'll see other blocks and then they'll get stuck in the corners or feel like they're okay and they won't come down into the killing chambers. So the more air around this design, the better. So that's why I would suggest not making it underground, even though spawn potentials, hostile mob spawn from the ground up, you won't get as much of that, but having it higher does make it easier to make them pathfind into the single block killing chamber. And the only thing I should mention, this works everywhere in the overworld except for in Mushroom Islands, because Mushroom Islands no hostile mobs can spawn. So yeah, that's about it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I've said my Discord stuff. Leave a like if you like this. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already to see more content like this and some content unlike this. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye, guys. like how other creeper farms work, the way it's... Oh, okay. Like other creeper farms, the way this works is there are spawning platforms for creepers, using trapdoors to limit the height of the white... Will you shut up? Depending how many layers you make, from 1 to 9, or even more if you want, you can get, with one layer, at least around 600 gunpowder in a minute in single-player world, in this type of configuration. Or, if you use all the layers, with a single layer, I was able to get about 600 gunpowder an hour, which is about 10 a minute. And with 9 layers, yes, I can speak. So after you figure out where you want to build the farm, I'm going to build it just over here next to this, so I can use this as a reference. This world would be download link down. Yeah, that I can speak. Download link, world, description. Yes. Will you shut up?